Hi babes, welcome back to my channel. I have an interesting video for you. This is a mohawk hairstyle and I braided love on one side. So it was inspired by this hair, but because I was just eager to braid the word love again in the hair, I decided to braid love on one side. So this is how we made the hair. So I part her hair at the back of her head from ear to ear just like this. And guys, the secret of making this hair look really cool is to make sure that the lines are neat, and then make sure that the lines start at, okay, when we get there I'll show you that particular point where all the lines originate from. Like here, you make sure it is sharp, like needle sharp. Every line starts from that point in a very precise manner. It makes the hair look so much like 200% finer than just when you're randomly making your sections. Okay, so I wanted the braid at the back. This braid is slightly thicker than the subsequent ones I made because her hair is not too much at the back. So just make the small braid as tiny as possible. It looks delicate and it looks just dainty. It's like a dainty jewelry on the hair. It's really nice. I like it as tiny as possible, but of course you have to ensure that your hair doesn't cut off or pull off because you're trying to make it tiny. So if you have full hair, you don't even need hair extensions inside of the braid, so to get it as tiny as you can. Okay, so I go ahead and braid the back part all the way to the center of the head, and I did the same thing on the other side. Now the tutorial I watched from this picture, I wasn't sure how she did the back, but I figured since the first bone is going to be covering this intersection at the back of the head, then we can just make the braids meet there. If you decide to do the braid all the way from this side, from the left hand side all the way to the right hand side, you're not going to get both of them starting at the point in that dainty needle like manner. No, so that was why I made from the left hand side to the middle and then from the right hand side to the middle, so that the starting points are all on point. So when I have the two braids together, I braided them into one braid and added it to the bone just like this, right? This hair was already looking so beautiful at this point. This camera is not doing it justice, guys. It is not doing it justice. This hair fine. So I am only sectioning the hair into two because I know that on one side I want to braid the words love. If you're making the whole hair the same, I don't think you need to do this. Even if you do it at the end of your like later on, you will have to join the bone, like the rest of the hair from the left hand side and the rest of the hair from the right hand side, into one single bone in the middle. The reason I shared it is just to make sure that I know that half of the hair is going to contain the love and half of the hair is going to be this hairstyle. Even if you cannot deal with braiding that word or braiding any design into the hairstyle, if you make a complete mohawk hairstyle, like the left hand side and the right hand side are all these designs, right? The hair is going to be one of the most compliment getters you have ever made. This hair is beautiful, guys. This hair is beautiful. So I had one braid at the back. There are four of them, so this is the second one, and you can see I started from that same point where the one at the back started, trying to make sure it is as precise as possible. After this, I'm doing the third one again, trying to make sure it starts like a needle from the same point, and then we would go, braid it, and then one more. Now the hair that inspired this one had one braid going to the front, but when we got to that point, I understood her dilemma. I understood why she braided it that way. Okay, it took me a while to decide to change mine from what she did, because I desperately wanted all of the braids or all the designer braids on this thing to start from this particular point. But if you consider the person's edges, it might, if I had to start from there and braid into this part that I left out, right, it wouldn't have been healthy for her edges. So I guess that was why Nkem changed her braid design and braided it from the front into, you know, like from the front, from the center of the head down to the sides and up. It's because of she was constricting her client's edges or her model's edge. But I figured mine like this. I just left out her edges and did that. So now, if you wanted to make this hair the same way all through, you would repeat exactly the same thing on the other side and then start gathering the hair into one bun, just as I am doing at this back one. This back section didn't have the love braid on it, so I gathered the left hand side and the right hand side together because it doesn't have anything to do with that love design, right? So if you're not going to make the love design, this is the point where you just start gathering the buns. So you're going to have 3 buns. Just hold like this into one, into one, into one. Your 3 buns. Then you can go ahead and put your kinky, like the end of the hair, right? The hair extension, you can crochet it. Yeah, you have to use crochet to attach it, or you can use like a rubber band, gather up the hair extension after braiding the person's hair into like a single braid. Like if you don't want to use crochet, right, after doing what I am doing now, you would finish up the braid, roll the natural hair into a tiny bun, then add your hair on a hair extension with rubber band and add the rubber band to her hair, and then do the folding wrapping bun method. But we are not here to play, we are serious, we like exploring with hair, so we are going to braid love. And I already made like a separate video explaining this love braid step by step for someone who wants to really get the whole tea. But if you're advanced, I know you can just watch this one and you will get the whole idea. But in that video, I was explaining why I needed to do this and why I turned this and how I was able to achieve this. I also showed the hair that inspired this hair and just giving explanation, all these things I am doing, right? I explained it in that other video. So if you're really interested in the love and you feel as if you've not gotten the whole story from watching this one, then the video will be linked at the end of this. It is already up on my channel as I am editing this one, so I would link it at the end of this video. You can watch it. But we proceeded to braid the love, and okay, this love on its own is interesting. Like this hair, when you turn to this side, it's like, ah, she has love on her hair, bang, and then you turn to the other side and like, ooh, your hair is fine, mama. I wish I can create this exactly on my hair. It's beautiful, and I already have someone else that saw this and wants to make the hair, so I'll film it second time, and then maybe if she doesn't want the love, then you will see like a complete tutorial of how to make the whole hairstyle without the braided part. Guys, if you're creative and you feel up to it, you can make whatever you want on this part. You can braid like a butterfly, a heart, you can write another word. So Sharon is my model. We work together. She made a tutorial of how to braid the word grad, like a graduation inspired hairstyle. Can you beat that? So if you have like an occasion coming up and like a graduation, you can just maybe braid grad. If it's for a child, it's best. They're going to find it more exciting. You know, adults we limit our excitement. So but for kids, they're just like wee. So you can do that. If it's a number inspired event or like a birthday, you can braid like maybe 5 or 7 or 9 on that side of the hair and accessorize it. You can just play with it. I just wanted to show you how you can play with the Mohawk hairstyle too, because it's fun. And then if you're not in for all that, you can just braid the 2 sides. I'm going to film that when my client comes. I'll film the left and the right hand side with the same simple hair, no design. So At this point, I am braiding the letter E. See, braiding words, it has its own challenges. So, like, it's very interesting. It's a journey on its own. So, and it's fun. Try it out if you've never done so. Especially if you have a child, you can make it on. They love it. They love it. It's just exciting for people to see what they're not used to seeing, especially in this part of the world where I stay. It's not normal for people to braid words on their hair because so we just look like magicians when we do this, and it's sweet. The attention is sweet. So I am braiding the word V. Guys, if you think I can just wake up and make all this thing by myself, like at first try, you're joking, no? I wasn't born with this. I just keep practicing and it's still not perfect. I was so obsessed with how the O has a space under the L. Above the L, that space was bugging the hell out of me. But she was like, it's still fine. It's really, really fine. Despite that, just continue. Don't lose it. Just continue. Or like, I didn't like that part. And I wish I made the V. I can't wait to make this hair perfect. I'm going to try it one more time and see if like where the L goes into the O and then the V is not as pointed as letter V should be. Can you see? It's slightly like a U that it got confused from being a U and then reverted into a V. That was the kind of things that were just bugging my head when I was making this tutorial, and it's just because it's edited, so you can't see all the pauses and the discussion and the doubt and everything that was happening in between the creation. But I'm just letting you know that once you start making this hair, it's not going to be straightforward as this edited version. Okay, hopefully because I have explained it and you've seen my challenges, it's going to be easier for you. But if you run into any challenge making these things, don't think you're not trying, because in the edited video it looks as if we just made it at once. Guys, no, no. There are times when I will just like give up. I want to take down the hair. I think I am more critical of it because I know what I had in mind and what I was trying to create. But for a client that is just seeing this for the first time and they're already just excited, no, it's looking fine. And to me, it's like, which fine? What do you mean it's looking fine? Look at how crooked the E is. I had serious problem with this letter E, right? Because it dug in too much when it was starting. I almost took it down. I swear, if she was just like, it's okay, please just keep going. It's looking fine. That's why I took a picture and showed her, so that because I was seriously just doubting it. But guys, last we still tried. It's looking very fine. So at this point we are done. I'm going to fit in the tails of the braids everywhere that they fit. See, you can't pull down the tail from letter V. Can you see now? It looks better. So you look for where you can add the rest of the braid without. Did you just see what I did there? If I had pulled that E up again, it's going to start looking like an O. So when you're adding the tail of your braid into the rest of the hair, you have to be careful. It's already looking like an O safe. But you know, like, you just have to watch how you add it in. Okay, this E is still bugging me now. I'm looking at it. If this is how you write your E, your writing is ugly, period. But she said it looks like italics, not italics. I don't know why I couldn't remember like what it's called, this calligraphy. No. When those fonts that looks like fancy type of font, I've forgotten what it's called. I kept trying to remember it when I was editing the love tutorial, but I couldn't. Okay, at this point, you know, you're supposed to lay the hair down with gel, right? So I just used braiding gel. I used Shine and Jam just to like further separate the hair from the sectionings, but I didn't apply it to the whole head. At this point, it was like, this was late evening, not late evening, let's say around 5 p.m. In Nigeria, it doesn't get dark until around 6:37. So I knew, like, after this hairstyle, you have to go home and sleep. We are not even going to do the last video like the display video on this same day. So I just left adding the gel so that the next day we can slay the hair, dress it up, and then take pictures and videos. But I'm just trying to explain to you that there is no gel even when you're seeing the finish. And even the next day we didn't really add braiding gel that much to her hair. So just, and her hair is a natural, her hair is natural, so you can imagine you don't need too much gel. Okay, and especially since we braided part of the hair, that laid it down. At this point I just wanted to attach the kinky hair to her hair, but okay, because the front part, why did I decide to braid it instead of using the rubber band method I was mentioning before? I cannot remember what made me decide to. Okay, I think I wanted, after braiding the love, right? You can see now this middle section, the bun is not going to be in the middle of the head because the LOVE shifted exactly at the center. You see that line I created when I was starting to shear her hair from the front towards the back into two, right? The E got all the way to the middle part. If I put the bun exactly on the middle, it is going to cover up part of the E. So that was why I decided to braid it like this, so that when putting the bun, I'll be able to section it, no, to angle it towards our right hand side as we are watching this tutorial, so that the E will show. So at the end of the day, my buns are going to be slightly curved, like almost like an S, not like an S. It's going to have this slight curve away from the E and then under the E. Do you understand? And then the front, we have so much section there, so I knew that I wanted it to be like this big ass bang looking bun in the front. It's going to cover her forehead, and well, that was it. This braid wasn't tight, oh guys, it wasn't tight at all. It wasn't tight, and this is what eliminated the need for too much gel because of this braid. So after doing this, I just used a latch hook to, in short, at the point I was using my finger to just push the tail of the braids under the other one because the hair was really loose, especially since we had gaps between each of the buns. So I used a latch hook to add the tail to the rest of the braid just to tuck it away. And this is the hair extension we are using. We chose this kinky because it is long. This is the length, right? I needed to use the longer one for the front because I wanted it to be like a bang, but for the back I could use shorter ones, so I cut it into two. For the back, I apologize if you can hear that noise, but we are almost done. So again, I said I cut the hair extension at the back to make it shorter because it's just small buns at the back, right? So I used the latch hook to attach it to the hair, and I was just creating the bun as I go. I didn't have the intention of making like maybe just 3 buns or just 4 buns. I was just like, we'll make the buns as we go. So for this part of the hair that was tight, I used the latch hook to just pass the hair extension. But when I got to that gap, you can see it just like that. I just used my hand to push the hair extension under. And when I felt like the quantity was enough for one of my bun balls, I decided to wrap it up into a bun and use bobby pin to secure it. I was thinking we would sew this. Okay, if I was making this hair on a client that I know it's not into styling her hair always, I would use needle and thread and sew this thing down, guys. After putting the pin, I will use needle and thread and sew the hair, unless I want everyday disturbance of pack my hair, repack my hair. But I know she's a stylist, she can like restyle this hair if she wants. So I just use bobby pin. But bobby pin, I think, for someone who can scatter their hair and cannot arrange it themselves, it is going to be just a nuisance, because this bun is not going to hold up for like 2 weeks. Okay, so I would go back and use needle and thread and like tack the hair in specific places just to help it withstand like the lying down and the movements and all those things. And you know, like if you place your head on a chair, like the back of your hair on a chair, this bun is just going to, maybe if you're sitting in a car and the bun is touching like the headrest, it's going to just mess it up. So if you're doing this for someone who will not be able to roll her hair herself and pin it back in place, after pinning, just use needle and thread and tack it. Guys, can you see the reason why I braided it? Now I can shift this bun away from my letter E, right, to make sure it doesn't cover the love and the word is showing completely. That was just the whole point. So we adjust as we go. So I pinned it, just pinned it away from E, so everything is slightly bending to the right, but that's fine. That's the idea of the hair. It mustn't be straight. We do it as we want it. So I have remembered this one, and I'm just tucking it away until I couldn't any longer. Then I use the latch hook to just, don't sweat that part. That one can just fit into one of these kinky hair extension and be rolled into a bun too. So we just keep going. You can make this bun as big as you want, as small as you want, depending on the face of the client, on the style, on the person's preference too. So it depends. People who like big ass bun can make like maybe that back section, this place I have two can be one big bun. But again, if you have a design on the side, you have to be careful so that it doesn't block it. Then if not, what's the point? So again, I roll, then fluff it out a little and pin it. And this side held up very well as she wore the hair. But again, if this hair was on my head, I am sure every morning I would take down the, like, unroll the bun and pin it. One day I am changing it into 3, one day I'm changing it into 5, that kind of thing. So this was where in short, you just need to figure out the face of your client once you get to the front, because you're not going to get a one style for all. Some people, like the tutorial that inspired this one, right? You saw that she had like a bun in the front and she didn't make it into like a bang. So she rolled it towards the back and there was space between the person's forehead. There was small space like her hair before you saw the bun. But for this, I wanted it to be like a bang towards the front. So that was why I changed it up a little bit. I just wanted to add a hint of color, be a pop of color in my mind. This thing almost disappeared, so it wasn't even showing. But I just wanted to add small color just for fun. I don't even know why. But that was it. After this one, then we used the longer hair extension, because that would be the last one, and that one will be the one that will be the bangs, the afro bang on her hair. And that afro bang one, I think she has to redo it almost every day and just adjust it on the face. Oh god, if you like to play with your hair and like to change it up a little bit, it's going to be very fine. One day she came to work and she had earrings pinned on the hair like accessories, and it just gave it a different look, which was like fun. I think it was even the day we took the last video, right? And it was nice. So you can just play around with that. You can pin pearls in between those balls to give it a different look. You can, I don't know, do whatever you like. The hair is very versatile. Like the options you have, it's just like crochet. At a point, she wanted me to pour the bangs that she wanted it down like this, and that is also an option. If you just fix it and get it right, then leave it down. But I felt it was just too bulky, like the hair is too much. But we could have done that. So this is the point. I am trying to figure out how it will be and how it will look on her hair. We are just playing front and back with it until we got something that we liked. So you can see here we have enough hair to play around with. I wanted like a big ass afro bun, so I had it to the left and had it to the right to find the best angle. Oh, I remembered my my love braid. I didn't want to cover it, so we took it to this other side. She really wanted it down. So whenever I shifted my hand, she would pull it down towards her. But the style is actually finer. She told me she wanted it down, like down on the forehead before going to the back. So I just fluffed the hair out a little bit more to give it volume and come towards the face. And we played around with it until we felt it was good enough. Some people would not want it on their forehead at all. So that's my point. Like why I say you have to do what you have to do for your client or for whoever you're making it or for the look that you're working on. So now we are pinning it like, you know, just doing the finishing touches, customizing it for her face and what she likes, just like that. So I had her do her edges, guys. That was all the gel I used. Can you see how tiny? Just like hair cream. We are just applying it like moisturizing her hair, just very small. It was almost unnecessary, but we just did that and pinned the center for that. We went to the mirror and just arranged it, and you're going to see the end result. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up because, guys, it helps. If you didn't skip the ads, you've given me some money. Like I've made some smaller part of dollars from you not skipping the ads, and I thank you for that. If I have so much designs here, if you're interested in those kind of things, you can look around on the channel and be entertained. So now we are going to do the reveal. See, there is no even edges there to that hair is not tight. Please don't come for me. Her edges are okay, but here it is. She's shy. But the hair is so cute. So there was a time I really wanted to make this kind of hair on my hair, and I made it into like a wig. So I'm going to insert a quick clip of that hair. If you want to watch the tutorial, again, I'll probably link it at the end of this video. But this is a quick video of how I made that hair. So I made it like a wig so that I could just pack my hair and clip on the buns onto my hair, and it served though. It was so nice. It served. After a while, I took out this and I made like 2 huge big ass buns instead of 4. It was just very interesting. If you want to watch this particular tutorial, in case you're trying to try this as a wig also, it will be linked at the end of here. You can watch that. Thank you so much for watching. See you in our next video. Bye.